What's cracking, people? It's your man, Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, representing high level technicians operating globally and beyond. So, listen, today I wanted to pretty much put a bow on the series of healing, and this is a video that I cannot post on the YouTube side because in this particular upload I'm going to go into the specifics of sexual healing. Now, this is something that happens on multiple levels in terms of a masculine master's relationship with himself and the women in his life, and by extension the women on his roster. So basically, we really got to get down to the nitty gritty, the men's reproductive health aspect of it, the ratchet aspect of it, and basically what it means for you as a man, as a real man, to position yourself and to position your roster positions to maximize your sexual healing. Because at the end of the day, our ability to master our sexual selves sets us up to master all the other elements of our lives and ultimately be able to affect the world as we see it, and we can mold things in the image that we want to mold them in. So let's get started. So basically, it starts with the ownership of your length, your girth, your stamina, and your grooming. Now, a lot of men know that in my world of adult exotic entertainment, our basic entry and basically our resume and our job interview includes getting asshole naked in front of a group of people, and it could be anybody from the general manager of the club to the waitresses to the bartenders to whomever is in that space during the time of the interview. And in that moment, you have to lay bare everything that you're bringing to the table. And that moment is the moment where your rank, not necessarily rank, but what your position is determined. Because that's one of those come to self, come to honesty moments, whereas, in that space, you can't lie. In that space, you can't hide who you truly are. In that space, you're completely exposed, and so you have to own your shit in order to be successful. The same thing that applies there, I take from that space and I apply it here. In order to be a real man, you have to be who you are, exposed at the end of the day and at the beginning of the day. That is the basis for establishing a firm foundation and a basis in reality. Because when you walk out of your house or your place of residence every day as a man, the buck stops with you. You cannot pass off your agency to someone else. You are the one who is responsible for how your world is shaped. And so these exercises are what I've found and that I pass on to my clients and pass on to my coaching clients regarding how to take an honest look at yourself, and not to be ashamed, but to embrace it, and then put in elements that support, enhance, and maximize what you are naturally endowed with. So, beyond the ownership of yourself, we need to take into account that most men don't get sex on the regular. I'll say that again. Most men, I don't care if you want to call them beta, if you want to call them blue pill, certainly married men don't tend to get sex on the regular basis, at least at home. They can get it on outside the house, but a lot of married men tend to not have sex on the regular. So when they can get it, they're not necessarily patient when they get it. They're very sporadic. It's on the low. It's in a dark place. You have to travel to go somewhere and get it on the sneak. What I teach masculine masters is that the sexual experience should be included in your protocols. It shouldn't be some happenstantial thing unless you are planning on it to be that. Because when you enter the realm of sexual interaction, so many things can be going on different levels, primarily energetically, that if you're not in control of what's happening, things can be taken from you. And I'm not talking about you getting robbed or set up or whatever. That shit can happen too. But part of being a masculine master is owning your energy. And besides your time, your energy is the most valuable element that you have. That's also a step towards owning your masculine mastery. Understanding that your time and your energy are the two most valuable things that you have. So, having said that, most high value, high level, mature masculine masters attain a high enough level of inbound vagina that they have sex when, why, how, and with whom they want to. Now, I'll speak more on this later, but it's kind of like, when you're in your younger years, and I'm talking about like between 18 and I'm going to say 25 or 26, it's like you've been trying to figure out the right suit fit, right? You're used to, wearing off the rack suits. But when you mature, when you develop your own style, when you come into your own, as far as, masculinity and especially, your sexual expression, it's like getting those tailored suits, getting those suits custom fit to your style, to your movements, to your size. It's the same mentality that a true masculine master is to take on when approaching the sexual space. Now, the first thing we need to understand, besides what we have as far as physicality, we have to know who we are as a person. What are our likes? What are our dislikes? What's our character? How do we operate under pressure? How do we operate when we're comfortable? Number two, what are the tools and our skill set tool chest? That'll come up later. And number three, what are the techniques that we need to apply to the sexual space in terms of sexual healing? One last thing before we go into it. Gentlemen, I'm going to reference a previous video that I posted in regards to how an alpha man sets up his roster and levels of the P. And I'm going to refer to the ride or die chick a lot in this particular podcast. So I'll link that down below. Go ahead and review that, because if you do not have a ride or die chick, go ahead and grab one or identify one within your roster, because there's a lot of fun to be had in learning and exploring this particular aspect of your sexuality, sexual healing. All right? That being said, let's get down to business. So, we understand that different women service different functions and positions on our roster. But when we're managing the sexual healing aspect of our interactions with our roster positions, we need to understand that beyond the different levels of the P, we need to be more specific in what these levels mean to us in terms of being more than just gratifying. Sexual healing is an essential part of a master's masculine mastery of not only himself, but his environment and his world. So I'm going to identify 5 different aspects of sexual healing. Okay, and I want you to explore these aspects with your ride or die. And if you have the opportunity, explore these aspects with your variety of roster positions, and you'll see where they fit. Number one is the sports fuck. And that tends to be an interaction between women of the ages of 18 to 23 years old. Now, the sports fuck can be used for a variety of things, but I'm going to identify just two. First one is obviously to help build up your stamina and help you with your control. Because women in those age categories are still exploring their sexuality, and they know basically 1 to 2 moves, and that's fast, really fast, and I'm trying to break this motherfucker's dick off fast. But also, if you're a masculine master, you understand that the sports fuck can open portals for you. And what do I mean by that? I mean portals and your essence, which is, spirit or soul, whatever you want to say, those portals, so that you can have visions, you can see things that you want to manifest, right? Portals allow you to also travel mentally on the mental plane, so that you can explore various options in various dimensions of something that you're attempting to do. Second, you have what I call the cosmic cutter. And these are women who range from 24 to 28 years old. Now, these are the women that you use to manifest things. So beyond the portal, beyond just being able to open a portal, these women have the ability to pull things and to bring things into fruition, bring things from the visionary plane into the material plane. And when you work with women who have that cosmic cutter ability, you'll notice that when you interact with them sexually, certain things pop up in their life. There are deeper methods that I can go to into that, but I'll only do that with special requests. Beyond that, you have what I refer to as the stable maiden ring. Now, this is usually from women who are between the ages of 29 and 33, and this is usually when women want to be married, having children, and things of that nature. But when you're dealing with women on the high value male side of things, these women generally understand that it's a value to have you in their lives. Hell, they may even have a domestic situation on the other side of it. But if they're dealing with you, they're attaining a value that they just simply can't get from standard domestic relationships. And what you use what you manifest with these particular level of women is that domestic formation, and how you manifest how social rules of engagement are to function. See, women between the ages of 29 and 23 have come into their own knowledge of how the rules of society work, and they understand that women are the ones who write the rules of society. Remember, gentlemen, men build the world, women feel, F-I-L-L, the world. So the way that societies are structured and rules of engagement, those are determined primarily by stable mates, okay? Beyond that, you have the alliance liaisons rank. And this is basically the 34 to 38-year-old women who are business oriented. You can say that they're the 92 octanes. They have, it could be a foreign establishment. It could be something of that nature. And if you're, a select man or a master of the universe, you can understand appreciation for a woman of this caliber, because when you're making business deals, when you're establishing connections, when you're building those loans, when you're doing things when you're operating in spaces and on levels that require a higher level of manifestation, these The alliance liaison's rank is the one that you want to target when you're manifesting these relations and these deals and these levels of functionality in that space. Okay. Finally, you have the social access gatekeeper. Okay, and this woman tends to be 39 plus years old, and this is the one on your roster that you would keep in order to navigate greater society to make plays. Now, generally, only technicians in the highly select and the masters of the universe tend to have these women on their rosters. Your ASPs, your USPs, your standard alpha males tend to not necessarily have this caliber of woman on their roster, because women at this caliber are straight shooters. They know what they want. They're usually in the political arena. We've got several of women of this caliber running for president currently in the United States. So this is a very high, very specified level of woman that you'd be dealing with. And in terms of the sexual healing aspect of this particular woman, this is the type of woman who can heal generational curses. This is the type of woman who, when you're looking to access records, when you're looking to access, establish and maintain alliances across regional lines, across societal lines, when you're ready to really do the work, this is the level of woman that you include in your roster, that you engage with. There's a language to it. There's movements to it that I won't get into in this particular post. But just know that the social access gatekeeper is the one who basically allows you to mend the fences in your world, depending on what determination or what angle or what the way that you are choosing to create your world is ultimately, and that is your decision at the end of the day. So, gentlemen, take this information, take this knowledge, apply it to your roster. Look at your roster and see what women you have that fall in line with these various aspects. Explore how you interact with these levels of women, and enjoy the ride. But take notes. Look at the results of your research, and you'll find that the most important thing, again, besides your time, is your energy. And sexual healing is the key to that 360 all around healing that we truly need in order to manifest our destiny. As always, this is your man Cousin T, aka the Alpha Wingman, saying stay sharp and mission focused. Later.